you married and got you engaged, but you were like, no way.
No, no. And that was like unheard of. I'm talking about India in the early 80s. And, anyway, with support from some friends, I actually broke off that engagement like literally a week before marriage. Again, this was unheard of. My father actually thought he's going to collapse. Uh,
Wow.
but yeah, it was quite a story. But what it did for me was it made me more determined to, ensure that my education was completed because I was just in first year of college. I was a kid. I was 18.
Yeah.
There was no way I was going to let that happen to me. So I completed college, and as soon as I completed, I wanted to stand on my own feet so that I don't depend on my parents. Because in India, it's very normal for children to stay with their parents till they get married.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a job, a very small job, in a showroom. And there I met somebody who was in the hospitality industry. So I then joined a hotel, which is the Taj Group of hotels. It's one of the largest chains in India.
Mm-hmm.
And from the Taj Group, I was there for 3 years. And then I joined British Airways. And British Airways was a long innings. It was for 18 years that I was with them. So I grew in the company, literally from, the, the kid that I was probably to the adult that I became. And so I left British Airways as the performance manager for South Asia in 2006. So it was a long innings, a long career, but I feel really grateful for having made that decision and having actually, followed what I thought was important for me.
Mm-hmm. And so you started there as what position?
I started off as a customer service assistant. I
Okay.
was used to work in the airport, and this was Dominic. This was the first European carrier which was starting off in the south. It was a big deal, you know. So I started off there. In a year's time, I moved to sales and marketing. I
Uh-huh.
was in sales and marketing for about 7 years. And then I spent around 8 years as the performance manager for South Asia, where I was looking after India and Bangladesh.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
It's quite a story. Yeah. So you moved up. That was 18 years worth at that company?
Yeah, it was. It was a long innings.
Yeah. That's great.
Mhm. Hmm.
So you mentioned HR before. So were you in HR also? Or-
So the role that I had as performance manager had a lot to do with HR. So I
Yeah.
was dealing a lot with HR in UK, and I was also, I had a lot of HR work, like for example, dealing with the unions in India. So there was a lot of HR work that I used to do in India as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot
Interesting.
of HR related work. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. And then what happened?
Well, and then this was 2006 when the India story had really become huge. Suddenly the world was looking at India. We were all poised for growth, and every time we would go to London, which was our head office, I mean, all eyes were on India. So they decided to expand, and they wanted to open bases in other cities besides where I was. So I was looking after Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, all of those cities. And what happened was that my children were also growing. I had a son who was very young, and he was starting to have problems in school because my job was really busy.
Yeah.
And my daughter was also becoming a teenager. So these two things were happening simultaneously, and it was really time for me to sit down and think about what I wanted now. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it was a no-brainer really, even though it was a really tough decision. All this exciting stuff happening at the work front, but the family needed me. So that's when I decided to hang up my boots in 2006. And
Mm.
I think also, Dominic, there was this part part in me which knew that there was something else that I wanted to do. I wanted to make a difference. But I wasn't sure that I would be able to do that where I was. It was very driven by, results and performance and somebody else's idea of what things should look like. So
Hmm.
suddenly there was this voice in me that said that you need to be free and fly and really do what you want to do. So
Hmm.
all of these things happened simultaneously, and the time had come for me to hang up my boots. So in 2006 is when I hung up my boots, and I started doing training and facilitating. I became a trainer.
Okay. Now, you backed off, so you were taking care of your kids more of time,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
doing the training and stuff, sort of like part time, if you will.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
You became independent.
I became independent, and that was a cool thing because I had all this time suddenly for my children, and training wasn't like zapping me like the way my job was.
Yeah, and if you're independent, training is not a full time job. It's not 5 days a week or whatever, and you take more time off and pick and choose your jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was doing. I was
Yeah.
saying no if I didn't feel like doing something. So it
Hmm.
was a honeymoon period, I think, for
There
me.
you go. That's great. And the training part is really interesting because I, like you, had the same, kind of the same path. Like I needed to fly, and
Uh-huh.
and then making that a reality was a different story altogether. So that's a whole nother, I'm sure, chapter of your book.
Oh my, it is.
You just didn't overnight become a full-time trainer or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I was training, and there's this design part of me, and there was this question: Am I on the right path? Should I give the design? Because I love art and design, and it's always been a part of me. I used to paint before I used to work, and so is that something that I do? Should I do this simultaneously? There's so many questions, Dominic. Even though I continued training, I didn't give it up, but there was this all these possibilities suddenly in front of me. Let me put it that way. Suddenly I'm free, right? And sometimes being free can be really hard because you need to know where you want to fly to.
Right.
Suddenly you see all these choices and all these possibilities, and you're like in a candy store and you're thinking, which is my best pick, really?
I think
So, yeah.
that's true. That's very true for a lot of people. I mean, it's because that freedom that we want. There's so many choices. How to narrow it down
Yeah.
is really challenging, and there's so many things, like you mentioned art. I mean, now I'm curious. I'm like, okay, so what type of, was it like, what do you lean towards, the, I don't know, avant-garde stuff, or the, I don't know, I don't even know what they're all called, but the different, which genre do you like?
Oh, I don't think I reached that far. I mean, I said first I'm going to have fun, Dominic. So I just designed this line of nightwear, just out of the blue. I just flew somewhere, picked up some. Even as I was training, I did this. So I designed it and had a sale, and I just had fun with it. But it wasn't people. And it was a good thing that I did that, because what I realized is, hey, you know what? This is great, my designing abilities, and people are coming and seeing and buying or whatever. But they're not people, and I need people.
Yeah.
So it then narrowed that choice that, okay, art is not for you because you can do it in the side, but you need to do something with it.
There's
Full
something
stop.
about the energy that's just
Yeah,
very addictive, and it
very.
makes it so rich. And yeah, the people that are in the trainings there, it's this life is there.
Yeah. And I don't know if you feel this, Dominic, but I just think that every interaction adds to your growth. You just learn something new.
Yes.
My clients, like executive coaching, my clients, I think the amount I've gained from my clients is perhaps, I think, more than they may have gained from me.
Maybe you should start paying them back.
I think so.
Send them a check and be like, what is this? It was such a rich experience. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we could share stories. I'm sure I had I have a great General Motors story when I was working in Egypt with the managing director was Indian, and this top 11 directors or eight directors, whatever, they didn't like him. So they brought me in for a leadership program. That was a learning experience. I definitely should have paid them.
I think we should start a small, side account. Put
There you
money
go.
into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. So are you still training?
No, I have been into coaching throughout. I do workshops on emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
I do that, and now I'm just launching a few more workshops. But
Uh-huh.
it's primarily my work is coaching.
Yeah. And it's one-on-one, or you prefer doing it in small groups?
It's one-on-one right now.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, and I do the same thing. So we have so much in common.
We do.
People. We're in love with people.
Yeah, absolutely in love. Madly in love.
Oh my gosh, that's great. So, all right. So, well, can you cook?
Oh, just to save my life.
Oh no. Okay.
I'm a terrible cook. I have to admit. I'm a horrible cook.
Horrible. Come on. You can boil water.
Yeah, I can make you a lovely cup of Indian masala chai.
Okay. What about your mom? Is she a good cook?
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Okay, invite me to her house. I'll go.
You can go to our house and have tea in my house. All
Okay,
right.
that's fine. But I am the best sous chef. I will chop, cut, clean. I'll do dishes. I'll clean the house. Just feed me some food. That's all. I'm good. Oh, that's
I'll remember.
great. Well, okay. So you said you traveled all over the place with with your job before. Where are some of your favorite places that you've traveled? That's a big question. I know.
I think no, but I do have my favorites. My favorite place was Rome. And now you can believe it when I tell you that there's this artistic side of me because I just love the art. I mean, so I have to tell you this, Dominic. I can stand and look at a building for hours together. I love beautiful old buildings, right? That's my passion. So I loved Rome. I loved Africa because there's something that it does to you. It just takes you back to I think where you came from. So
Interesting.
Africa was beautiful, and I love New York for its energy, its vibe, good
Well,
food.
a lot of buildings there to look at. I don't know how old they are, but they're old enough.
Yeah,
Come to
yeah.
Chicago.
But
I'll take you on the architectural tour. They put you in a boat, and then you get to go through the Chicago River and look up at the buildings from. It's a totally different perspective. But yeah, that's a cool
yeah,
one. But
yeah.
yeah, Rome. I've been to Rome once. No, I've been to Rome
Hmm.
twice, but I've never seen Rome, the airport.
Oh, you must go. It's so beautiful. I mean, that's probably the city that takes you back into time.
Yeah,
Interestingly, I started a travel blog, and I have about 8 to 10 blogs in my travel blog. I haven't
really.
had much time off lately, yeah, but I used to write, and I think I did write about Rome. Yeah.
So there's your literature right there. Oh, that's great. So you've got a lot of photos from all over.
Yeah.
If you had a ticket right now, if I sent you one right in the email and you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Oh, I would go to Paris.
Paris is nice. And you haven't been there, I'm assuming.
Well, I was so silly. I used to go to London almost every second month, but I didn't go to Paris.
Really?
Yeah, that was dumb. But, hey,
And I've been to Paris twice, but this is such a big city. There's so many
is it?
things to see. Yeah, and used to hear these stories that French people, they're so, and all
Yeah,
this
yeah,
stuff. And I got
yeah.
there, people were really friendly and they were talkative and we were laughing and joking and everything was great. I never had experienced that, but the bad side of it. But maybe I went to different restaurants. I think it has to do with me interacting with them, right?
I think so. Yeah. You love people, so they can sense it.
It's easy.
Yeah.
So Paris, that's interesting. So would you go to the Eiffel Tower? Would you have, you can get up that, I think you have to climb.
Do you? I don't know. I know
There's
I'm
no
very unfit
elevator.
right now, so I don't know if I'll get to the top of it. But yeah, I'd go to Eiffel Tower. Why not?
I think there's stairs and then there is an elevator, but I can't remember the detail. But I did go in and, I got to look out and unfortunately I was by myself.
Ah,
So
okay.
yeah,
Well, why is that unfortunate?
because I want, when all the places that I've seen that I've like really loved, really, really loved, I was by myself. So I didn't have anybody to share it with. I just wanted to be there
Ah,
with someone, so
yeah.
that we could talk about it later and just look at the pictures. Yeah, you remember that? But looking at the top of the Eiffel Tower at Paris, it's like, wow. And I'm like, all these people I didn't know.
I I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful. So what's in your future with your coaching? You're going to continue. You mentioned a couple of little other workshops that you're putting together.
Yeah, there are these workshops on emotional intelligence that I have there. Um, I also, have put together some workshops once again on feedback skills and on customers, winning with customers. Um, but coaching just takes up so much of my time
Yeah.
that I need to be able to get that time to do the workshops. It's high on my list, but right now I'm pretty neck deep into coaching.
Yeah. It's time consuming. It is.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, because there's a lot. I mean, at least for me, I don't know if you share that. There is work in between also, so it takes time.
Yeah. And there's only so much time to have, you know, to do coaching. I had at one point I was doing 5 or 6 people and it just became overwhelming. And I don't want to do that. That's why I'm not doing it one-on-one as much as I used to.
Mm.
So I want to do this live thing that I put together and do it with a group online. I prefer to do it live because it's so much more fun.
Yeah,
With COVID, it's just like, when is that ever going to happen again? You know?
yeah, seriously. We've started a few sessions one on one.
Yeah.
We think things have been a little better here, so
Mm-hmm. That's good to hear. That's great.
yeah.
Wow. So okay. So favorite foods?
Ooh,
I know that's
Chinese.
Chinese. You live in India, like the most delicious food in the world, and you say Chinese. Okay.
Chinese and biryani. It has to be my favorite food.
And which one? Chinese and what?
Biryani. Have you
Biryani.
had biryani?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, you got to come to India, darling. You're
Okay.
missing something
That sounds like
great.
an invitation to me.
Yes.
Oh, fun. What about karaoke? You ever done that?
Nah,
No?
I haven't had fun there.
You might like it. I actually was petrified of karaoke for a long time, and I was in a group of trainers. We were all trainers teaching this how to get out of your comfort zone thing, right? So that we were all together at this ceremony, and everybody was getting up and doing the karaoke, and I kept talking to myself. They were passing around the book of songs,
Uh-huh.
right? So I'm looking at this book, having this conversation, like, I'm too nervous. I'm not going to do it. And so then I found a couple of songs and somebody behind me said, "Hey, are you going to go up and do it?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I kept waiting and waiting and waiting. Finally, the DJ says, "Last call. We only have enough time for 2 more people." And I didn't get to do it. And I was like, except the next day I wake up and I'm just like, "You wimp. You're going to stand up in front of these people and tell them how to get out of their comfort zone, and then you won't do it yourself? You hypocrite."
Oh, well, you know what? Then it's going to be biryani and karaoke.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll do it. But yeah,
do it.
the food thing is always is amazing. I mean, I also remember I used to do audiovisual. I had an audiovisual company, and so they hired me. The Northwest Indiana Indian Medical Association hired me, and we had Ravi Shankar's cousin or
Music.
brother or somebody was there playing the things, and they catered in all this delicious Indian food. It was my first real experience of real Indian food. And they were like, "Help yourself." And I was just like,
I'm surprised you didn't find it spicy, Dominic.
"Oh yeah, I knew it was spicy. Yeah. Lots of
Yeah,
curry and but I love that though."
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
We used to have
absolutely.
these managers in British Airways who used to come down and have all the spicy food, and they would just love it. But their heads would just turn a beetroot red. You know?
I couldn't handle it.
And some of them would just be sweating profusely, but just eating all that food, you know.
Yeah.
And of course, the next day, a lot of them wouldn't turn up for the meetings.
Oh. Oh, that's funny. Oh my gosh. So if when you travel now, I mean, do you go? Would you go to the beach? You go to the mountains? You go to the city? I mean, where's your like go-to place to chill?
Oh, everything. Give it to me all.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter. It's the beach, the mountains,
yeah.
city, anything does. I've
Anything.
just come back from a beautiful holiday in the mountains.
Nice.
So, yeah. And I live close to the beach in India. I mean, I
Hmm.
don't live close to the beach, but we have a wonderful beach in
Yeah.
Chennai.
Nice. Um, have you seen any of the seven wonders of the world?
Yes,
You
we
did,
have Taj Mahal in India.
right? There you go. Taj Mahal. I did not see that, of course.
We've got that, and I have seen the pyramids in Egypt only from outside. Okay, we just passed them, so I can say I saw the pyramids, but I actually haven't been to the pyramids. Yeah,
You have to get close, so you have to go back.
yeah, and I have to go back. Yeah, and I'm just wondering if, yeah, I think so. I forget which are the seven wonders of the world, to be really honest. But I don't know if the monastery in Russia is one of them, because I've
Yeah.
seen that.
Hmm. I mean, there's so many places to see, isn't there?
Oh my, oh my. I have a long list.
Oh, that's great. So, if you had all the people's attention on the planet, right? So let's just pretend everybody on the planet was watching this, right? Person behind the passion, and you could speak to everybody and give them a message, right? What would you tell what would you tell humanity?
I would just tell humanity that there is nothing that is more powerful than compassion and kindness in this world. And there is nothing more powerful than valuing another human being and another individual. And that when you do that, you become powerful. That's the only message that I would give.
That's great. It's so true. Compassion. It's like when I think about that, I mean, when I really learned compassion, it was when I realized that when people, including myself, don't know a better way or a better thought, they're innocent. They don't know. And so that's compassion. So the only thing that I can do is be compassionate and be an example for them. That's what I learned.
Yeah, that's really powerful. So
Yeah.
true. Yeah. And and I just think that it's about every day trying a little harder. If I was compassionate today, then how can I be more compassionate tomorrow? And it's about empathy as well. I mean, what's compassion, what's empathy? It's always a big question, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
When am I being compassionate and when am I being empathetic? But I just think that it's about trying to be that way every single day. Sometimes you may fail in just being compassionate, but that's fine, as long as we just keep trying.
Hmm. Absolutely.
That's
You probably talk about this a lot when you're
Mhm.
coaching people, talking about purpose and,
Oh,
purpose in life. And for many years, in my 20s, I didn't really understand what that was. I wasn't really interested in that until I began to do the type of work that I was doing. And I had my different purposes at different times. This year was something, next year was different, the next year was different. And then I settled on, and I've had for like the last 30 years, my purpose is to improve the world for all of us. And so when I decided to on that purpose, it was because I could do it anytime, any place, anywhere. I didn't need to have a special circumstance to activate my purpose. So if I was walking down the street and I saw something that was on the ground that needed to go in the trash bin, I could pick it up and put it in the proper container so that it could, or recycle something I would be on a beach on vacation someplace, I see a bottle or whatever, I would put it in that. So then I could fulfill that. Or if I could have a conversation with someone and make it a great conversation, add value to it, then I could do that. So it makes it so that, what you're doing is really incredible by taking your time, your valuable time, your life energy, and supporting people to, evolve into what they ideally want to become. And that's huge. So that's a huge gift, and it's such a giving thing. So thank you.
thank you, Don. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's like I tell people all the time, if you want to be part of this thing right here, the self-esteem network, all you got to do is keep this thing right here connected to this, and everything works out fine.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and we always underestimate the power of allowing somebody to feel hurt. And I just think that coaching is never about the coach, of course, but it's just about that space that you create for another human being where a human being can be heard, can be understood, can just be themselves. And it doesn't have to be fantastic coaching or this fantastic, techniques and tools, etc., that you bring to the table. If you just open up that space for a human being to be accepted in their totality, that in itself creates transformation.
Hmm.
So I think the world is full of people, all of us together, who just want to be heard and accepted.
It's true. Acceptance. I like to
Yeah.
say acceptance rocks.
Nice. I
It
may
does.
use it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of like, all my kids, I've got four of them, they go through phases in life. And, there was a period where my youngest daughter she was upset with me because I didn't come to her uh, high school events, all of them, you were not a good father to me, and stuff. And then, and I mean, I don't mean to laugh, like it's just comical because she was going through that stage, and now when she looks back at it, we have the conversation about it. She goes, "Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking back then. I was so ungrateful. I was so imploded, And now she's just like, Daddy, I love you."
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anything else you'd like to share with our members?
Um, I think, I've really said everything that I wanted to say. All I want to say is thank you so much for this opportunity, Dominic. And, I think we're all working towards making the world a better place. So let's just rock together.
That's right. That's all there is to do. What else is there to do?
What else is there to do? We just
That's
got to
right.
rock it together.
Let's rock
That's
it all
it.
together. That's right.
We're all
And please, I mean, I want to have an offline conversation because I would love to do some topic discussions with you. Pick, something, in our field, and then just explore and talk about it. Create some videos like that. That would be really wonderful. I would love to do that with you.
lovely. Sounds great. Thank
Okay.
you so much, Dominic.
You're very, very welcome, and thank you. So thank all of you who are watching or will watch later. I appreciate that. And as I always say, from all of us here on the Self-Achievement Network, remember to stay inspired and have fun. We'll talk soon. Bye for now. Thank you so much, Payal.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.